Hello and welcome. Namaste from New Delhi. You're watching DD India Live. I'm Gautam Roy. Coming up in the next 30 minutes. India's growth touches four-quarter high of 7.4% in the last quarter of FY25. The economy clocked 6.5% growth rate in real GDP terms for FY 2024-25. Prime Minister Narendra Modi says terrorists were brought down to their knees by India's forces in a single decisive action. Asserts this is New India, an India of immense power and resilience. And Turkey proposes to host Trump-Putin-Zelenskyy summit. Moscow says it will send negotiators' team to Istanbul for a second round of direct talks with Ukraine on Monday. First up, the Indian economy grew by 6.5% in real terms in the recently concluded financial year 2024-25. Ministry of Statistics and Program Implementation's official data showed on Friday. India's GDP growth touched a four-quarter high of 7.4% in the last and final quarter of FY25, with full-year growth ending at 6.5%. According to official data, the economy grew 8.7% and 7.2% respectively in 2021-22 and 2022-23. The Ministry of Finance, in a report in March 2025, anticipated that the Indian economy will achieve a growth rate of 6.5% in 2024-25 despite considerable external headwinds. And India's Minister of Petroleum and Natural Gas, Hardeep Singh Puri, on Friday highlighted India's proactive approach in managing fuel prices at CII's annual business summit. He also said that the government has lowered oil cess twice to ease consumer costs. He highlighted that India stands alone in reducing oil prices globally, defying international trends.
The case of what I was referring to, that twice we reduced the cess in November 21 and May 2022, state governments, I should have said, also reduced their VAT. And that's why we were able to reduce the price of petrol and diesel respectively by 13 rupees and 16 rupees a litre between those two reductions. India is the only country in the world where over a 3-year period, the price of petrol and diesel at the bunk, at the retail point, has actually come down. No, I told you, we are already buying $14 billion of energy from the US. It could go up.
Also addressing the CII Business Summit in New Delhi on Friday, Niti Aayog CEO BVR Subramaniam said transforming the manufacturing sector in the country is crucial for India to become a developed nation. He emphasized the need for India's manufacturing sector to grow at 15% annually to contribute 25% to the nation's GDP growth by 2047, which is when India completes 100 years of independence.
We need a manufacturing transformation which will take people out of agriculture, somewhere around 40-45% of population, move them to manufacturing, which means, that's why I mentioned the HR, the education transformation. These two are closely linked. So I think manufacturing transformation is essential for India to become Vikasit. And I think that's very, very, very key. Manufacturing sector should be growing around 15% at least. That's only way it can rise from its current share to 25% over a long term.
And speaking at another event in the national capital which was related to artificial intelligence, India's Minister for Information and Broadcasting, Ashwini Vaishnav, announced that as part of the AI mission, India is developing a PhD program in AI to support and fund foundational research in the field.
Working on another program for PhD program so that the foundational research, the basic research in AI can also be funded out of AI mission. And a large, running in millions, a large talent development program starting from the very basic to a really advanced level. तो ये complete ecosystem AI के AI mission के तहत किया जा रहा है.
Prime Minister Narendra Modi on Friday referred to a past terror attack in Pahalgam, recalling the loss of innocent lives and his vow to retaliate. Addressing a rally in the eastern state of Bihar's Caracat, the Prime Minister said he had promised the country that terrorist camps would be destroyed and the terrorists will be punished beyond their imagination.
अभी पहलगाम में जम्मू कश्मीर में आतंकी हमला हुआ था। हमारे कितने निर्दोष नागरिक मारे गए। इस जघन्य आतंकी हमले के बाद एक दिन के बाद मैं बिहार आया था और मैंने बिहार की धरती से देश को वादा किया था, वचन दिया था, बिहार की धरती पर आंख में आंख मिलाकर हमने कह दिया था, आतंक के आकाओं के ठिकानों को मिट्टी में मिला दिया जाएगा। बिहार की धरती पर मैंने कहा था, उन्हें कल्पना से भी बड़ी सजा होगी। आज जब मैं बिहार आया हूं तो अपने वचन पूरा करने के बाद आया हूं।
This event also saw Prime Minister Modi laying the foundation stone and dedicating to the nation multiple developmental projects worth over $5.7 billion in Bihar's Caracat. These projects will boost industrial growth, create job opportunities and provide affordable electricity in the region. Earlier, the Prime Minister was felicitated with a shawl painted with Madhubani art, which is the landmark art form, the local art form of that part of Bihar, and a silver coin. Also, upon his arrival, the PM held a roadshow and greeted people at the public meeting in Bihar. And the day also saw Prime Minister Narendra Modi meeting cricket sensation Vaibhav Suryavanshi and his family members at Patna Airport. The Prime Minister lauded the teenager's talent. He posted about it on social media platform X, and I quote, "At Patna Airport met the young cricketing sensation Vaibhav Suryavanshi and his family. His cricketing skills are being admired all over the nation. My best wishes to him for his future endeavours." Suryavanshi, who turned out for the Rajasthan Royals, has been one of the breakthrough stars of the 2025 Indian Premier League. In just 7 matches, the teenager accumulated 252 runs, but it was his explosive century against Gujarat Titans that caught the nation's attention, and Gujarat happens to be the PM's home state. Prime Minister Modi was also in Uttar Pradesh's Kanpur on Friday, where he laid the foundation stones and inaugurated 15 mega developmental projects worth over 47,573 crore Indian rupees, which is about $5.6 billion, aimed at boosting the region's infrastructure and connectivity. And the Prime Minister also flagged off Kanpur Metro's new corridor between Chunniganj and Nayaganj. The section of Kanpur Metro Rail project is worth over 2,120 crore Indian rupees. The metro section includes 14 planned stations with 5 new underground stations integrating key city landmarks and commercial hubs into the metro network. The PM also distributed Ayushman cards to beneficiaries above the age of 70 years. Also addressing a gathering in Kanpur on the occasion, Prime Minister Modi said that the world witnessed the country's righteous anger against terrorism in the form of Operation Sindoor.
पहलगाम हमले के कारण मुझे अपना कानपुर दौरा रद्द करना पड़ा। पहलगाम के कायरना आतंकी हमले में हमारे कानपुर के बेटे शुभम द्विवेदी ने भी इस बर्बरता का वो शिकार हुए। बेटी ऐशन्या की वो पीड़ा, वो कष्ट और भीतर का आक्रोश हम सब महसूस कर सकते हैं। हमारी बहनों बेटियों का वही आक्रोश ऑपरेशन सिंदूर के रूप में पूरी दुनिया ने देखा है। हमने पाकिस्तान में आतंकियों के ठिकाने घर में घुसकर सैकड़ों मील अंदर जाकर तबाह कर दिए।
Now let's talk about India's diplomatic outreach following Operation Sindoor, which has been ongoing, with Indian MPs across party lines underlining India's commitment to countering terrorism and deepening cooperation. An all-party Indian parliamentary delegation led by JDU MP Sanjay Kumar Jha met with the KH Ulil Abshar Abdullah, chairperson of the Nahdlatul Ulama Executive Board and Kohlil committee member of Nahdlatul Ulama in Indonesia, the world's largest Islamic organization, and sought their support against violence and religious extremism on Friday. The leader of the delegation urged NU leaders to support India and condemn cross-border terrorism to give a strong message to the world.
उन्होंने कहा भी किस तरह से धर्म के नाम पे पूछा गया किस धर्म के हैं, कलमा पढ़ने के लिए कहा गया, कपड़े उतारे गए उनके, और तब उसके बाद उनको परिवार के सामने उनको क्लोज रेंज से गोली मारी। और ये जो संस्था चलाते हैं लार्जेस्ट मुस्लिम ग्रुप का, ये एक बात को माने कि जो मुस्लिम रिलीजन है और जो मॉडर्निटी है, जो मॉडर्न दुनिया हो रहा है, इसको कैसे कोप अप करे इस्लाम, इस पर ये काम कर रहा है। ये अप्रिशिएट कर रहे थे हम लोग की फीलिंग और बात को, और इनको लग रहा था कि नहीं गड़बड़ हुआ है।
And condemning terrorism and the attack on innocent civilians, KH Ulil said he felt the pain of India and called for India and Indonesia to work hand in hand to promote peace and economic development.
Discuss many issues, the current issues of Pakistan and India, tensions, and also the issue of the peace and harmony in the regions, the issue of the challenge of religious extremism and terrorism.
And the Indian delegation also paid floral tributes to Mahatma Gandhi at his statue. This is at the Gandhi Memorial Intercontinental School in Jakarta. Now, the all-party delegation led by DMK MP Kanimori, who is in Riga, Latvia, held meetings with a delegation from Latvia in the Latvian Saeima. The delegation from the Latvian side is being led by a chairperson in the Foreign Affairs Committee in the Latvian Parliament. The all-party delegation led by BJP MP Ravi Shankar Prasad on Friday visited Danish Parliament along with Deputy Speaker and member of the Presidium of the Parliament, Lars Christian Brask. The leaders met to discuss terrorism and bilateral relations. The meetings included Christian Friis Bach, chairperson of the Danish Parliament's Foreign Policy Committee, and Danish MP Trine Pertu Mark. Addressing the media, Ravi Shankar Prasad appreciated that Denmark has been one of the first nations to express solidarity with India.
Wonderful meeting with him. He understood the problem of terrorism, conveyed his views, and what we appreciate is Denmark was the first to convey solidarity.
And still to come in this edition of DD India Live. The Shangri-La dialogue kickstarts in Singapore as French President Emmanuel Macron delivers the keynote address. The US proposes a 60-day ceasefire for Gaza. And Donald Trump is set to hold a press conference with Elon Musk as the billionaire exits his administration. Welcome back. You're watching DD India Live. I'm Gautam Roy. Let's take things forward. Asia's premier defense summit, Shangri-La Dialogue, kick-started today in Singapore. French President Emmanuel Macron is delivering the keynote address. The dialogue brings together defense ministers, military leaders and senior defense officials, as well as business leaders and security experts from across the Asia-Pacific, Europe, North America and beyond to discuss critical security challenges. Now, General Anil Chauhan, India's Chief of Defence Staff, interacted with Charles Fries, Deputy Secretary General for Peace, Security and Defence, European External Action Service of the European Union on the sidelines of the IISS Shangri-La Dialogue. Discussions between both the leaders were centred on the future roadmap on regional security, particularly in the aftermath of the Pahalgam terror attack and India's standpoint on Operation Sindoor. Both the leaders or government figures exchanged views on bilateral defence cooperation, including maritime security, cyber warfare, military training and crisis management. Earlier, ahead of the annual Shangri-La Dialogue Defence and Security Summit in Singapore, US Secretary of Defence Pete Hegseth met ASEAN defence officials. During that meeting, Hegseth said he was committed to deter aggression by Communist China and increase security and stability in the region. The meeting came ahead of the annual Shangri-La Dialogue Defence and Security Summit in Singapore, which will run throughout this weekend. Earlier, US officials said that Hegseth will attempt to persuade Asian allies that Washington is a better partner than Beijing.
The United States is committed to working with our allies and partners to deter aggression by Communist China in the Indo-Pacific. And we're doing this, in particular, reestablishing deterrence through strength. By standing shoulder to shoulder with you, we will unite against those who threaten a free and open Indo-Pacific. A key part of our success will be empowering allies and partners, like all of you, to even better defend your territory and to ensure peace and security in this region. That's what we want. That's our overarching message here. We seek and we want peace and security and stability.
How successful will this bid to acquire new friends in Asia be for the US? That remains to be seen, because what the world is seeing is that it's ditching its old friends in Europe. Now, Turkey on Friday proposed hosting a summit with the leaders of Russia, Ukraine and the United States as it strives to broker an elusive deal to end Russia-Ukraine conflict. Turkey's Foreign Minister Hakan Fidan, who visited Kyiv on Friday, said that his country sincerely thinks that it is possible to cap the first and second direct Istanbul talks with a meeting between Trump, Putin and Zelenskyy. Fidan met Ukraine's Foreign Minister Andrei Sybiga in Kyiv. Earlier this week, he had held talks with Putin in Moscow. The Kremlin repeated Friday that it would hand over its version at the talks on Monday, but Kyiv is pressuring Moscow to send a copy in advance.
We believe that it is possible to hold the next round of meetings based on the decision of principle taken by the parties in Istanbul. Therefore, I want to express once again here in your presence that we are ready to host the subsequent talks. And we are interested in establishing a ceasefire, whether it is for 30 days, 50 days or 100 days. Ukraine is open to discussing this directly with Russia. We confirmed this during the last meeting of our delegations with the Russian side.
Now on to West Asia. A US plan for Gaza proposes a 60-day ceasefire and the release of 28 Israeli hostages alive and dead in the first week in exchange for the release of 1,236 Palestinian prisoners and the remains of 180 dead Palestinians. The document, which says the plan is guaranteed by US President Donald Trump and mediators Egypt and Qatar, includes sending humanitarian aid to Gaza as soon as Hamas signs off on the ceasefire agreement. The aid will be delivered by the United Nations, the Red Crescent and other agreed channels. According to Israeli media, Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu told the families of hostages held in Gaza that Israel had accepted a deal presented by US President Trump's Middle East envoy Steve Witkoff. But Israel has insisted that Hamas disarm completely and be dismantled as a military and governing force, and that all 58 hostages still held in Gaza must be returned before it will agree to end the conflict. The Hamas has rejected the demand to give up its weapons and says Israel must pull its troops out of Gaza and commit to ending the conflict. All right, now as billionaire and Tesla CEO Elon Musk's tenure in the administration, that is the US administration of Donald Trump, is ending today, Trump will be holding a press conference with Musk later on in the Oval Office. He's already described Musk as terrific. President Trump earlier on Thursday in a social media post had praised Elon Musk, and that's where the terrific part comes in. Like I said, he called him terrific and said that although it is the last day for Musk, but he will always be with the administration and be helping all the way. Now, India to boost manufacturing's GDP share from 15% to 25% by 2047 with a focus on ease of business, skilling, MSMEs, technology and quality. The mission aims to make India a global manufacturing powerhouse, which is a bold step towards a $7.5 trillion vision. DD India's Tapas Bhattacharya has this report.
India is on a bold mission, realizing a $7.5 trillion manufacturing GDP by 2047. Despite strong government backing through initiatives like the Production-Linked Incentive Scheme, skilling programs and major reforms in ease of doing business, manufacturing still contributes only around 15% to India's GDP. This is well below Asian peers like Vietnam, South Korea and Thailand. But that's about to change.
Last year, the Prime Minister had given a call for states to prepare their own visions. And the good thing is about 17 states are either completed or on the verge of completing their own vision document. As I speak, 3 are out, 5 more are going to be out this month, and umpteen more are going to come. And by end of the year, I think every state and unit territory will have a roadmap for itself. If you want to become a developed nation, given the population you'll have at that time, you'll be a $30 trillion economy. A $30 trillion economy, and our hope is manufacturing should be about 25% of that. That means about $7.5 trillion is the goal for manufacturing.
The Union Budget 2025 has introduced the National Manufacturing Mission, a game changer with a mission mode approach to accelerate growth, drive global competitiveness, and power India's industrial transformation.
When there is disruption, everybody is on the same footing. And when everybody is on the same footing, no incumbent has an advantage. So as a late entrant to the game, we can get into manufacturing big time. So it is in this context that the National Manufacturing Mission has been announced. There's a huge opportunity. There is a lot of issues, which need to be addressed. So we need a mission approach to break the gridlock and kick Indian manufacturing to a higher level.
The entire ecosystem is aligned with clear roadmaps for New India's growth story. Tapas Bhattacharya's report for DD India.
Let's quickly turn to sports. Gujarat Titans and Mumbai Indians are all set to lock horns in a winner-takes-all in the eliminator on Friday. The Gujarat Titans wrapped up the season in third place, boasting of 9 wins out of 14 matches. Unfortunately, they came into this match after a loss to the Chennai Super Kings and will be missing Butler, who is out of this game. Kusal Mendes is stepping in to fill that gap. On the other hand, Mumbai Indians finished 4th in the standings. Hardik Pandya-led MI will be without wicketkeeper batter Ryan Rickleton and all-rounder Will Jacks. In India, Satvik Sairaj Rankireddy and Chirag Shetty marched into the semi-finals of the Singapore Badminton Open with a convincing win over world number 1 Malaysian pair of Goh Se Fee and Muzuddin on Friday. Satvik and Chirag beat their opponents 21-17, 21-15. The first game saw Satvik and Chirag lead 11-8 at the interval and build upon it to take the opener. Although the Indian badminton players trailed 6-5 early in the second game, but they seized control of proceedings soon after and sealed the match convincingly. They will now face 2-time Olympic bronze medalists Aaron Chia and So Woo Yik of Malaysia in the semi-final. And that's a wrap as far as this edition of DD India Live is concerned, but let us know your thoughts on the news of the day. And for those on the go, you can get all the latest news and updates from India and across the world on DD India's mobile app. It's available on both Android and iOS. Just scan the QR code on the screen and download the app right away. I will be back with more news as it breaks here on DD India. I'm Gautam Royan from all of us here in Delhi. Thanks for watching DD India Live. Deepika is up next with, well, she'll tell you what it's all about.